Dry waffle. Dry waffle.
Hey!
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Betty.
And this is...
Dry waffle. I can't do it.
You can't do it. Do you know what it's like? Do you know the film...
The Terminator.
No.
I think it is.
What's the film with... Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg in... Where he comes
The other
in,
guys.
The other guys. Would you know where he goes in the studio and he's like, the panda?
No, that's the other film. That's Daddy's Home.
Daddy's Home, that's what I meant. Sorry, that's what I meant. That was what it was like when I did Dry Waffle.
Yeah, it was.
Dry Waffle, or whatever it is.
Dry Waffle.
That's what it was like. So, for those who don't know, I made that instrumental. You made the inspiration for that whole thing came from our pilot episode, which we sent to our friends, and in it we were like, hello, like messing about, like we've just introduced it, and then I did like a stupid dunk Dry Waffle, and we were like,
oh my god,
that's it.
So
that's why that was made. I think I'm going to do like a video that shows that,
you should.
and then links it up to the finished masterpiece.
You should
So
very talented.
We're back. Round
Episode
two.
Episode 2. I'm nervous about this episode because I feel like we've got a bit of a weird energy going on.
I'm shattered, by the way.
Rob's shattered. I'm slightly like weirdly high off a turmeric shot, which I've never had before, and I feel a bit like jittery.
It might be the CBD drink.
Or it's the CBD drink. Or it's the fact that I've had a decaf mocha and it's my first sugar in a week. Who knows? Either way, anyway, I just don't know where this episode's going to take us.
Do you know what? Neither do I. And guess why that's funny? Because we've actually planned it.
we actually sat down and went, what should we talk about this week?
I've got it written down.
We knew what we
on the floor in front of me.
But you're very honest.
In true me style, it's all over the place now. I really don't know what's going on. I've just got something that says intro. Nothing else.
We are in the intro.
So, what was your thoughts on the last week? Oh, by the way, because you're not going to mention it, this episode is going out on my birthday, so it's my birthday today.
It is your birthday today.
Yeah. You weren't going to say anything, were you?
No. What a heartless bitch.
What have you got me for my birthday?
I've not got you anything. And you know why? Because we agreed. The funny thing about this is we agreed that we weren't going to do birthday presents this year. And then Rob went to me this morning, by the way, you don't have to get me anything for my birthday.
I forgot about that.
And I was like, no, I know, because we've agreed that we will get each for anything.
Yeah,
because we're getting a tent box.
And we bought all this.
And we've bought all this. That is actually the reason why, not the tent box. All of this is the reason why.
Yeah.
But also we're getting a tent box.
We are getting a tent box.
I'm excited about the tent box.
Do you want to explain what a tent box is in case people think
it's
just a box?
Yeah. It's basically a tent that's in a box that goes on top of your car. And what are the things called that you clip it on with?
A roof rack.
A roof rack. So you put a roof rack on and then buy a tent box, and basically the tent is then on top of your car, so you're like not on the floor, and there's stairs that go down. And we basically want to use it so that we can travel the UK more, don't we? And potentially Europe, because
now we're sober campers.
We're those sober camper wankers.
We can't go on city breaks anymore because there's too many triggers.
Woo!
So we go in the middle of the fields.
What a beautiful segue, babe. Did you plan that?
No, I didn't.
You
actually
didn't?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
Because this week's episode is about
triggers. Because we had last week the trigger week from hell.
Trigger happy TV.
Yeah, it was very trigger happy. It was a week. So we're going to talk about triggers. But before we start, I wanted to actually define what a trigger is. But they don't have an alcohol trigger definition online.
Well, I think that's possibly because it's just like the trigger can be for anything, can't it? It could be for, if it might be heroin, it might be just getting angry. It might be
true.
A trigger is just go on, say
I'll tell you. So the Healthline describes, it's like story time. Healthline describes An emotional trigger is anything, including memories, experiences, or events that sparks an intense emotional reaction, regardless of your current mood. Knowing what your emotional triggers are and how to deal with them is a key component of good emotional health.
In terms of the triggers,
Yeah.
you can be literally triggered about. There's pretty much there's so many things that can be a trigger. You can be triggered when you're happy. You can be triggered to drink when you're sad. You can be triggered to use when you're stressed, or when you're bored.
Yeah. Everyone has their own triggers.
Yeah, and it can be there are lots that are probably quite common, like the sun coming out and watching people drink. That's going to be triggering for people who drink, or whatever your tipple was But I think one for me, which was always a trigger, was definitely when I was like in a good mood. I
think Fridays were a trigger.
Yeah, but I was in a good mood because it was Friday.
Yeah.
So if I found myself like really, if the sun came out and I was in a good mood and like I would then be like, right, this means it's time to drink.
Yeah.
I never really drank if I was like sad. Or thinking I used to just sit and eat sweets and chocolate then instead. I'd be like, I'm going to have a quiet night tonight and order 3 million calories worth of food. And then I'd probably go for a drink the night after. But yeah, so what led you to want to do...
Of triggers.
What led you to want to do an episode about triggers then?
Because I had a week of triggers. I had a week, guys. So, started with my skin. So, been suffering with my skin recently, been suffering with acne, which, at the ripe old age of 34, it's not the one. And it was just particularly bad, and I was feeling really down about myself, and I was feeling really insecure. And it was the weekend, and I was just really down on myself. And I think typically, and we were going out as well with some friends, when we went out with playing darts.
Oh, right, yeah.
And when you're putting your makeup on and I think when usually we were going out, I'd have a wine whilst I was getting ready, just to, if I weren't feeling good about myself, it'd just take the edge off. And that was the thing for me, was like, I want to get that confidence boost, and alcohol would do that. So it kind of started the week that way. And then I had a bad week in work, and just a really kind of bad day. And I was actually already going to my mates after work that day, and kind of turned up at her house in like tears, and was just like, that again would be a scenario where she's my go-to, and I'd get there and it'd be like, let's have a glass of wine and like talk this out. And I was driving to a house and I was feeling so triggered in that moment, just because of the norm of like going to a house, getting a bottle of rosé, opening it up, and just, talking through everything. Now, I don't need the alcohol, obviously, to talk through. Don't need it. And I didn't need it. I didn't have it. But I was just feeling really triggered in that moment. And it was probably one of the strongest triggers I've had for a while recently.
So that scenario triggered a craving.
Well, it triggered like a familiarity of wanting a drink, yeah, which is a craving, I guess.
Yeah. And how did you deal with that then? How did you get through it? What do you think stopped you from having a drink?
I think it helps that my friend, for one, knows that I'm not drinking, so she kind of said she wanted juice on arrival. And
you're accountable as well if they know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was driving, so I couldn't, well, you could have had one, but I don't know. I think you have to just sit with those feelings. Like I think I'm almost in a place at the minute anyway, where it's like I'm able to block it out a bit easier, because it's just 6 months in. It's not part of like the routine now.
Yeah.
But it's and I knew I was never gonna drink, but it's just that uncomfortable feeling you get. You just get like
it makes you feel sort of like when you get those feelings to do it, and then you're telling yourself you're not doing it. It makes you just feel a bit empty and a bit like, oh, do I have to like deal with this forever?
Yeah.
Do I have to like keep being in these situations forever?
Yeah. But the fact is, I got to my friends and we had a good chat and I felt better when I'd left and didn't need alcohol to kind of not have a good time. And yeah, it's just, I think they're going to happen. I think for anyone that's on this journey, you'll know already that there's certain things when you go through your day to day that trigger you. So for me, a big trigger is stress.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say like it's like how you were saying about happy. Like there's just certain like scenarios, but stress was always one that I definitely would turn to have a glass of wine.
Anxiety for me.
Yeah.
But it was weird. I think I was saying to you yesterday, like I would get really excited about the prospect of going out to the point where I was like sick to my stomach. And then I'd get really excited. I'd get on the beers and then I've got like social anxiety. So when I'm out in like with lots of people, I'd really feel anxious if I wasn't like a bit tipsy. And then obviously that led to drinking again more and more.
Yeah.
And so like definitely anxiety was something that I used to soothe with alcohol.
Yeah.
Like just social anxiety. So, and I think we had a bit of that this last weekend, didn't we?
Yeah. So that was the start of the week, wasn't it? And then we were going down south to meet
the fuckers.
Yeah, meet the in-laws.
Well,
in-laws.
So, we went to meet my mum and my stepdad.
Yeah,
and my
who had
auntie.
not met before, and we've been together nearly 2 years.
We have, but we have a sort of long distance relationship. My that side of the family. Without going into too much detail, we don't see each other a great deal. It's probably been a year or so since I last saw them, and if I'm completely honest, I can't remember the last time I have not been down to see them and used it as an excuse to get pissed.
Yeah, because you saw it as like a holiday, didn't you?
It was an adventure.
Yeah.
So I would just randomly decide, do you know what? I'm getting sick of everything. I'm gonna go see my mum and my stepdad, and I'm gonna get the bus because it's cheaper, and then I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna stop off in London. I'm gonna get pissed basically, and then I'd get to my mum's, and then I wouldn't feel that. Distance between us, like, because we don't see each other a great deal. I realised this time it is slightly awkward, and I feel slightly awkward. But when all these other times that I've been, because I've been drunk, I've not noticed it.
Yeah.
And I'll get there. I'll have had a few drinks, and then I'm just like really chatty and just like, all right, I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
After I've gone out on my own and just like basically, quite selfishly used it as a drink experience, more so than a family visit.
Yeah.
But we went this time, obviously not drinking.
Yeah.
And I really struggled.
It was nerve-wracking. I was nervous because first time meeting the mum, and you just never know what environment or what kind of everyone knows that when you first meet someone, like, and especially if it's a parent of the person that you're with, it's terrifying anyway.
Yeah.
So I just had no idea what I was walking into. And then
to be honest, it went better than I thought.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was a lot of I don't know how to explain it. Like, I didn't feel comfortable because, like I say, I'd done a lot of visits over there, like, and I'd usually have a drink.
Yeah.
So it had that sort of distance that we have between us and not seeing each other a lot, I didn't really realise it was there because I'd just get drunk, and when I'm drunk I can speak to anybody, a complete stranger, be best friends. So I just didn't notice that, whereas now I'm like gone and I'm like, oh God, like we don't really have much of a we've not got a very close relationship. And there's many reasons for that, which I'm not going to go into, but you know, it's been we've had a tough time with our family on that side. So it's you know, we're just not that close. So I found it really hard to deal with, and I genuinely, like, when we were there, that was something going through me. I had to sit with that because I was like, oh, if I just had a drink now, like if I just had a couple of beers now, this would be easy. But it wasn't easy. It was like so tough. I was drained by the end of the day. It was like we got off at like. We went back to the hotel room at like what time? About six or seven. 7 at night, and I was like, I am physically and mentally drained. And it was
we were there for like a good few hours as well, weren't you? And I think even in that sense, like, so socializing in the same setting for a long period of time is really hard now. Like with anyone, right? Like if you go and sit in a pub now, when you used to go out and you sit in a pub and you'd have drinks for like 4 or 5 hours, you'd be fine. But now if you go out and you spend longer than 2 hours, you're like, I'm actually bored as hell.
Yeah, like, especially when
no offense to friends if they're listening.
Well, it's not you. It's not the friends.
No, it's the environment, isn't it?
It's just like, it isn't much fun to be sat still, like drinking liquid, like for a long period of time. Because I know that, like, the other week when we went out with our friends and we played darts, and we had an Indian,
were doing stuff.
That was like 6-7 hours of us being out, and we went on a walk as well before. So we went on a walk. We played darts for 2 hours, and we went for an Indian, and we had like a couple of alcohol-free drinks. And it never felt boring. No. It was just because we're doing activities. And I think that's why you do have to reassess what you want to do if you when you stop drinking, because going out and just sitting at a table watching people get more and more drunk, unfortunately, as much as they're your friends, it's actually bloody boring.
It's almost not normal, but it's like, if you actually thought about it, like just putting yourself in one setting for that long, it's like...
But at the wedding, like for the wedding, for example, there was a DJ, there was music, you can get up and dance and whatnot.
Exactly.
So it's not everything.
And things change, don't they, in a wedding as well? It's just, you just need different type of stimulation, don't you? Anyway, I went on a sidetrack there.
Yeah, we did, and I wanted to just say as well, because I felt like I basically then explained how awkward it was for me and how I found it, and I struggled with it because I wasn't drinking. But you know, I wasn't that awkward. It was just stressful because I had to put myself in the position. I was worrying about you. How did you feel? Because all I was thinking the whole time was like, she could probably tell I'm feeling a bit like uncomfortable. Like, is she like, you know, she must be like going through it. So how did you find it?
I think it, to be honest, I think it was more the build up to actually going, because I could feel your like nervousness and I could feel your energy, like, you know, and that was, I think, making me nervous. And then when we were in there, it was fine. I think it was good as well because your auntie came and like chatted as well, so that kind of broke things up. And but it was a long time. But it was nice to meet them. It was lovely.
Yeah,
your mum's adorable.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to go and catch up with everyone, and I'm glad that we did it. I'm glad that I put myself in that position. I'm glad that I, you know, ticked that box off of things. And obviously, that's something that, you know, I need to work on, probably maybe trying to rebuild a better relationship. But that's a separate story. But it's definitely something that was tough.
Yeah.
For all me. Because I bet some people are like, what, you went to go see your mum and that?
Yeah.
How's it tough? It's like, you don't know my stepdad. No, but I'm only joking. Well, I'm not joking, but It was tough. But anyway, let's not get into that.
No.
Let's not get into that. We're talking about the triggers. How did you find it yourself anyway? How did you find the whole thing? And do any more spring to mind? Any more triggers or any?
No, I think we obviously what we did appreciate whilst we were away this weekend was actually we were triggered and we were exhausted, weren't we, at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And what we did was we just chilled in our hotel. When we went and got some like nibbles, chilled in our hotel, and just almost kind of acknowledged the fact that we were exhausted. And instead of going down to the hotel bar and having a drink, which as you normally would do when you're away, we literally got our CBD drinks, we got some food that we love, and we just chilled and watched TV. And actually we were so content in that moment.
Yeah, I think that was something that I definitely appreciated as well. Like, usually a hotel room to me is just stress. Like, when I think of my memories in hotel rooms, it's little sleep, getting up late, rushing around, packing everything, just cramming breakfast. It all in a bag. Yeah. Like, we literally packed the night before for tomorrow. We sat down, we watched some telly, we had a chat, I had a shower. I just got myself really relaxed, and I was just thinking. Usually, a hotel room would be somewhere I'd crawl back into at 6 a.m. If I was lucky. If I didn't stay out till later or whatever, just run back in to grab my stuff and leave. Like, you know, a hotel room would usually be somewhere I'd crawl back into, get very little sleep, if any. Have to like rush around in the morning, and it was just so nice to just not have that worry. It was so nice to feel calm and feel like, oh, I'm just so chill. We could just enjoy this like room that we've paid for. Yeah. And then like we got up in the morning and went for breakfast.
Yeah. And then we had our like special day then, didn't we? Because we knew the first like couple of days were going to be heavy, and then we arranged like a trip. Well, not a trip, but then we arranged to go to the Jurassic Coast, which like was Weymouth. Incredible. Yeah, down in Weymouth.
So it's only like an hour away from where my mum lives. And
we went. We had an amazing like couple of walks, didn't we? And then we went to our new hotel in Dorchester, which was amazing. The Duchess of Cornwall.
Can I just ask you to stop banging your hands on the
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
You can hear it through the mic.
Can you? Sorry, everyone. Sorry if you can hear that through the mic.
Jeez, God, working with absolute amateurs.
So we went to the Duchess of Cornwall, which we highly recommend. Again, I'll put it in the description. And had a really nice meal. And we had like I had an alcoholic-free cocktail. You had an alcohol-free beer. Just great food. Sticky toffee pudding. And it was just, and I think like we were just exhausted in that day. But
I thought I was dying.
We did. Rob was like, I'm having a heart attack. I'm like, you're not having a heart attack.
Because we went on a walk up the coast, and we walked. What was some of those landmarks called? The Devil's Door? No. Deirdre's Door.
Durdle's Door.
Durdle's Door.
Durdle's Door. And the old
Deirdre.
Old Harry's Head.
Oh, yeah.
Old Harry's Head and Ludlow Cove.
Yeah.
Hey, go on.
Yeah, well done. Very good memory.
Yeah. So I think we did about 20k.
Yeah, we did a lot of walking, and I drank a lot of coffee. I've had to like completely come off coffee because I think I was.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm just imagining this, but I was not very well at the top of that hill. No. Like I couldn't get my breath back, and my heart was going really fast. And I thought maybe 6 coffees is too much.
Yeah, I think so.
So I've decided to start trying to drink decaf, and it's all right so far. But I was hankering for a nice coffee before, but it was a really good coffee taste.
Anyway.
My words.
Anyway, we had, we went to Ludlow Cove and...
It was a good coffee.
Are you okay? I think we've lost Rob. I think he's
Sorry.
gone.
My brain just decides to leave the room sometimes.
Yeah, I think it went then, didn't it?
It does.
So let's bring it back. So we had a really great day, and then obviously we came home. So it was just, all in all, it was a week of triggers and emotions, and I think there was just multiple times throughout the week where both of us would have usually leaned on alcohol in those times, and you know, we got through.
We did.
And everyone can get through those triggers. You've just kind of got to sit, go through them, feel them, don't ignore them. Actually acknowledge why it is that you think alcohol would make that scenario better. Because that's where you'll really start to understand them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. Like, obviously, we don't know all the answers off the top of our head, but from a few of the things that we've sort of looked at and used, I'd definitely playing the tape forward. If you can get to the stage where you can look at the situation and really acknowledge that it's going to definitely do you a disservice by drinking. And I know that it's really not as simple as it sounds. Like, I've spent years and years and years trying to play the bloody tape forward, and I just go, oh well, I'll just do it anyway. Like, you've got to be. It's a tough journey, but once the main thing is making the decision to stop. As long as you've made that solid decision to stop, you sort of prime then to take on these actions and stuff. It's a tough one, because if you're just, let's say for example, you're stopping drinking because your missus is giving you grief about it, or you're stopping drinking because for somebody else, or for some other situation, you've sort of been forced into it.
Yeah, then you're not going to.
You're not going to be fully in on it. You've got to really want to do it, because otherwise you're going to feel like you're denying yourself something. Whereas I don't feel like I'm denying myself something now. I feel like it's so in my interest not to drink, and I'm happy about it. The triggers are just my old coping mechanisms trying to just trick me into doing it, and I get it, and I get that
the memories, they're associated memories.
Yeah, and I get that what am I trying to say here? And I get that I've not got it, like, I've not got all the answers, and I'm 6 months in, and I could easily slip up if I take my foot off the gas, or if something could happen. But I'm definitely at the stage where I'm getting the triggers, the cravings, and I'm able to work through it. And I think a large part of that is down to the fact that I've really made that decision that I don't want to drink. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm not doing it for you. No. I'm not doing it for nobody. I'm doing it genuinely because I want to now, not because I think I have to. Which I do. But I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Yes.
Before we wrap up, I've got a question for you. Yeah. What would you say was the best and the worst bit of the last week? Like the week away that we had that was nice. What would you say the hardest and the best bit?
The hardest bit was probably the morning before we were meeting your parents, just because it felt
tough.
I could feel your anxiety, and I was anxious as well. Yeah. And I think that took quite a lot of mental energy for both of us.
Yeah.
So that was pretty tough.
What about best?
Best was when we were lay on the floor outside the Durdle's door, and we just
on the cliff edge.
Yeah, we just had a little argument, and I'd stormed off, and then you came over and you hugged me, and we sat down and
I just got what's the word, vertigo then when you said that, because I was imagining myself stood like you got it was right. I've just jumped out my skin basically.
You actually did.
Like it was at the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, you're such a visualization person.
Visual person.
Vigilant person. Is that not a word? Visualization. No, clearly not.
Visual. You're such a visual person.
I think I'm merging visual and imagination.
See, now the cliff edge sharing, the cliff edge romantic cuddle after argument, really looking cute. Over the sea as the sun set, surprises me that was your best bit, because I thought your best bit would have been when my stepdad farted at the table while we were eating.
Why would you bring that up? Oh God, the trauma.
You look like you were gonna.
I thought I was gonna be sick. I genuinely thought I was gonna be sick.
That's what I'm dealing. This is what I deal with. You see.
Yeah, it was, and it weren't even like he did it to the other side.
He sat up.
He literally sat up towards me and did it.
He fired it in your direction
whilst he was eating his chicken chow mein.
It was. Oh. It was a weird moment.
I thought I was gonna be sick.
But do you know what the thing was? I wasn't even surprised.
You weren't. You really weren't. I think we did eyeball each other. We were like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for that.
What a lovely way to end the day that was. Right, before you go.
Yeah.
Right in your bloody chicken. Right in your chicken chow mein.
I actually couldn't believe it.
Kung poo.
I couldn't eat the rest of my satay chicken, which is heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well...
Do you want to share your best or worst moment, or should we just leave it there?
The worst for me was definitely just the like we were saying, just the social. I found it very hard to I say social like they're not like my family, but like just dealing with my emotions that I obviously have not dealt with over the years, and dealing with my feelings and the relationship. I had to like sit through that sober, and I found that tough. I found it draining, mentally draining. The best bit, obviously, our trip, like the best bit, getting in the hotel and getting the upgrade to the better room.
Yeah,
like just
have a bath.
Walk. We were going down the street, and it was like there were like palaces and bloody big grand buildings.
In photos or been, it's quite the spectacle. It's like Toy Town. It looked like the Truman Show.
Yeah, it did. And obviously the walk that we went on, we had a really good pub dinner, didn't we? We had like we like that pizza and the food, and then we and then we had the food. Did we have more food?
Yeah, we had 2 lots of food that day. The Castle Inn, which we'll share, and the Duchess of Cornwall.
Yeah, so it was a fantastic day, and really enjoyed it. So I think that
it does for today.
It's done on the whole triggers thing, because I mean, it would be. Do you know what we'll do though? We'll definitely do another episode where we get
someone in.
The plan is obviously, as we've said, we do want to bring guests on. At the minute, we're in a situation where
stages.
I don't think we've got we've got like quite a limited setup and where we are and stuff like that. So, but I think you've got a possible guest that we can bring on who you know personally. Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting to get them on. And eventually it'd be good to get somebody on who can go through things like triggers and really give a detailed
scientific
and like really get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, even to help us understand it more as well.
Yeah, exactly, because we can only say so much, and we don't want to come on here and act like we're giving out advice and thinking we're not. Like, this is just us talking through what we did. Yeah. And that's that, you see. So don't try and get us on anything, right?
Yeah.
Disclaimer, we're thick, so don't listen to us, right? Well, no. But, so that is that, I think, for this week. I think that's a great time to wrap it up like a Christmas present or a birthday present. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Have we said it's my birthday?
Yeah, we did right at the start.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Right.
Just FYI, it's his birthday today. So, to wrap today's episode up then, if you've enjoyed it, please follow and subscribe us, give us a like, pop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. We do actually want to do a section in our podcast that's listeners' waffles, where you share your stories, or if you want to ask any questions, we can try and answer them to the best of our ability. Or if you have any tips for us, please share them. We'd just love to hear you and love to share your stories as well, so it's not just me and the waffle waffling on all the time.
Because nobody wants that.
But yeah, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. We will be back next week and have a very good week.
Yep, and now it's time for my amazing jingle. Let's go.